Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be bringing you our very special guest, the one, the only Marlon Sanders. How are you, Marlon?
Hi, David. I'm doing fantastic. Merry, happy Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah, all of those wonderful things. And I'm looking forward to what's coming up.
Yeah, me too. So, for those of you watching, yeah, that have been living under a rock and for whatever reason haven't heard of or don't know who Marlon is, he's innovated a bunch of techniques that are now commonplace online. I kind of think of Marlon as like kind of like if everybody had a doppelganger or an archetype in another industry. Marlon's kind of like the what's that big basketball player with the blonde hair? Dennis Rodman. They share in common. They're both African American. They both play basketball. They're both tall.
That's wrong. That is wrong.
No, so Marlon, he's innovated the 12-step formula for writing sales letters, the 2-page website model, the structure of modern download pages. He's been doing this stuff since some people were probably still in high school or grade school. How long have you been online, Marlon? Like probably
Full time since 1996.
Since '96, when there was dial-up modems and things like this. You were marketing on BBSs and stuff, right?
I hit it right after the BBS. I was on AOL CompuServe and Prodigy. We were doing all that stuff. That's going way too far back, though, David. People are like, I don't care about that stuff. So we're talking about today and the future.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say is you've been, I would normally say you've been quietly making money online, but to say you're quiet is kind of like saying Dennis Rodman is chill. But anyway.
A little bit of an oxymoron, yeah.
So anyway, you're still doing really well online, connecting with all kinds of innovators from today. So I find that fascinating. And so tell everybody what you're going to be speaking about today and at the Internet Marketing Party on Thursday, January the 8th. You'll be kicking off 2015.
Well, I'm going to reveal something at the Internet. I'm going to reveal two things at the Internet Marketing Party, one of which no one's heard before, and it's really cool. I call it the lockdown. And the lockdown is a strategy you've not heard before, and it's about a way, you've heard the cliche about forcing people to buy your product or service, but no, I'm serious. If you just take whatever you got right now, your webinar, your video sales letter, your sales letter, and you put a lockdown in it, you will see a dramatic immediate impact, almost instant impact on your sales. You can use this with products and you can use it with sales messages, video sales letters, webinars, sales letters. That's what I'm going to be teaching. That's one thing. The second thing I'm going to be teaching is my 12-step sales message formula. And it's a structure for creating a sales message that is tested and proven to get people to buy, and I call it my 12 steps to $1 million sales letter formula. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. People will learn. You'll get to take a lot of notes, and I'll top it off with the unbeatable lockdown formula that literally, I know it sounds like hype, but it's really not. It absolutely gives you an unbeatable advantage. I think everybody would like to have an unbeatable advantage going into 2015 and through it, and that's what I'm going to give you on a silver platter with a nice little red ribbon tied around it.
I love it. Well, so if there's somebody watching right now who's thinking to themselves, well, like this lockdown formula, will it apply to my business, or it does sound a little hypey. Is this something you've been using yourself?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I just used it 3-4 days ago, and you can use it on anything, David. It'll work for a product, it'll work for a service, work in any kind of meeting. But you can even use this if you want to get a response on a newsletter or a blog post. You stick a little mini lockdown in there, and you will have people contacting you because they want to know what it is.
Awesome.
It's like one of these things so I just used it in my newsletter that I wrote on Saturday, and I had people, and it's really, I created a little name for something, right? I created this little name, and I had people wanting to buy it, but there was no pitch for it other than I just said what the lockdown was. I gave it a name, and I had people already wanting to buy it and messaging me for it.
Nice.
And, you know, in an age of hyper competition and over communicate, not a lot of people just proactively message you and go, how can I buy this? Where can I get this? Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, and it's also a great way to throw something out there and find out if people want to buy it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you throw out your lockdown and nobody messages you, no one's bugging you about it, none of your friends are Skyping you going, oh, I want to know about this lockdown, then you know what, you didn't nail it.
Right. That's awesome. I really like that because you know, with apps, the AppSumo guys, Neville and Noah, they're big into validation. Like, and
yes.
I heard Ryan Lee kind of doing his version of that, which is the idea that everything you can learn from any internet marketer anywhere, any guru anywhere, is worthless until you have this one thing, and that's a solid quality product that people need or want. And I think there's a lot of people out there using all the techniques that we teach on a mediocre to a poor quality, poor desired quality product. So I think that I really like what you're describing.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is you can take whatever you're doing, whatever it is you already got, whatever you're already marketing, stick a lockdown in it, and get immediate response, and immediately boost your response.
Nice.
Almost instantly.
Well, I can't wait to hear what it is myself.
And it's like, it's not something, and it's really cool, David, because there's not a lot of things that can create an honest to God, immediate impact.
I got you.
I mean, in the old days, it was like, yeah, stick a headline on your sales letter, and everybody like, oh my gosh, I got to go do that. And sure enough, they get an instant response, right? Or
I love it.
Or in, you know, vintage 1989 J. Abraham, oh, test 2 headlines and find out the winner, and you'll get an immediate response. Well, that was great back then, but today, not a lot of things you just plug in instantly, click play, and you get an instant. Well, that's what a lockdown will do for you.
All right, so we got that. What about for people watching today who either can't make it because they're not going to be in Austin, or they're you know, they for whatever reason they're justifying they can't pay the $19 a month to be an Internet Marketing Party member, so they won't find out what a lockdown is. What's something you can share with people today, separate from the lockdown, that will that they can take away and take action on today? Like maybe a couple of the steps of your 12-step writing formula or something like that?
Well, yeah, I'm going to give you just a specific tactic, because again, this is a tactic that's it's easy to implement. If you use sales letters at all, it's an easy strategy to implement. It works best with your customer list. It can work with non-customers, but it's really a fantastic method for your customer list. And that is, a lot of people will do a special sale, special offer or something, and it's commonplace now to have a countdown timer. But I use a thing that comes from the direct mail industry. It's old school, called the Johnson box. It was invented by a guy named Johnson years and years and years and back. And you get these sales letters in the mail, and there would be the old asterisk, and they'd type a little box at the top of the sales letter in those asterisks, you know?
Yeah.
And then right inside of there, you would put whatever the offer was, like, you know, get 9 CDs for only a penny today, or whatever the offer was. Well, to translate this online, what we do, and I hardly see anybody else do this, David, and it works gangbusters, especially to your customers, is we put a box up there at the top of the sales letter above the headline, and it has whatever the offer is in it. Typically, that's a free bonus, possibly a discount with a deadline. And we'll make the deadline a dynamic date. And you put that right, so when they go and they hit that, now oftentimes you're mentioning that in the email. So understand, go from the email, and you've mentioned the deadline, the bonus, the discount. They go to the sales letter, and there it is right up at the top.
So there's a continuity to it.
And it works gangbusters, and it really creates a lot of urgency, and it creates a lot of action. And, you know, I think for one thing, a lot of people already see the countdowns. The countdowns definitely work, but you still don't know what's the countdown for. What are you getting? Right? With the Johnson box, it's right there, right above the headline. You know what the urgency is. You need to order before this deadline, and you know what the incentive is to do that. I see. And a Johnson box is really great. You know, another one that I teach is called, it's the old puppy dog close, and this works fantastic, David. And it's old school, but it's funny because a lot of times we know what to do. We forget the things that work. Oh, yeah, well, I used to do that. Oh, yeah, that worked gangbusters. Oh, yeah, I used to do that, but, oh, yeah, I've been forgetting to do it. And the puppy dog close is one of those, which is, the people are there and they're looking at getting the dog, and the person's like, oh, just take little Scruffy home for 3 days. Here's a doggy food bowl dish, the free bonuses. Here's some food for him. And if Johnny and Susie don't like him, just bring him back. Well, they take the puppy dog home. The puppy dog pees all over the carpet, rips down the curtain, tears up the bed. The parents are like, this dog is our worst freaking nightmare. We're going to take this dog back. And Johnny and Susie are like bawling their eyes out. No, Daddy, please don't take Scruffy back. And, that's why your dog is named Scruffy, and he's just your worst living nightmare, is because of the puppy dog clothes. Well, hopefully you're giving your customer something better than a puppy dog that's going to pee all over the carpet. But the idea is, and the thing we forget is that there are 5 elements that I found are in $1 million sales letters that aren't in other sales letters, right? There's 5 elements. One of those elements is, and this is based on research that was done back in 1950s in the farming industry. It's from the Diffusion of Innovation. There's a lot of scientific research about it. But anyway, it's called trialability. Can people try out not just your product, David, because they're really not trying out your product. A product is a concept, a way to fulfill a want or a desire, right?
Right.
So can they try out your solution? Can they try it out with real low risk? And if this is a new idea to people, if this is a new concept to them, and you make it trialable, where they can try out the concept, that is going to have an immediate, that's going to have an impact on sales, absolutely. And nice. I just saw the other day, Mike Buontempo, I may mispronounce his name, did this. It's one of these. It's one of these things that you just forget to do. He tried out the whole telemarketing thing where you sell the $10 or $15 or $20,000 coaching program, and it really kind of wasn't working good for him. So he had a $297 a month continuity. So instead of doing the big ticket, they just called him up and they said, hey, Mike's doing a webinar next week. Do you want to be on it? They're like, yeah. Okay, well, it's just part of his mastermind thing. It's a $297 a month, but we'll give it to you free for 14 days. Do you want to hop on the webinar next week? Oh, yeah, I'll take it. And they get and I believe it, and I may forget the numbers, David, but I believe he says 40% of the people, 50% of the people are taking that trial, and then a good percentage of them are sticking.
Wow.
At $297 a month. And it's as stupid as simple. There's not even a big pitch for it. It's just a puppy dog clothes.
I hear you. So it's just about taking an age-old thing and then modifying it and having it apply to your
into our modern environment. So a lot of these things that are classics, like the Johnson box, like a puppy dog clothes, with a little innovation, a little bit of creative thinking, they work just as great today as they ever did.
Yeah. I've often thought about how marketing on some level is really kind of like a pendulum. Like anything that used to work will work again. You just need to give it some time. It's just about, things that people grow numb to over time. It's not that they stop working. It's just that, that joke isn't funny anymore kind of thing. But if you give enough time.
Give it a little bit of time, right? Well, and they have to be adapted to modern the social environment we're in, to modern methods, to what's going on currently. So it takes a little bit of innovation. But anyway, I'm going to be sharing the lockdown, and people are going to want to know the lockdown. I won't have time to go in depth into 5 factors of $1 million sales letters, but I will tell you what they are.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to give my 12-step, step-by-step sequence for $1 million sales letters, all happening, going down at the Internet Marketing Party. Don't freaking dare miss it.
I love it. One of my favorite things about you is your showmanship, just how you show up, you entertain, you sell like a gangster. I love it. It's really cool. I can't wait to see you.
Well, I think marketing should be fun because, creativity comes from the child ego state. And when you're fun and you're relaxed and you're having a good time, then you boost all of that, and that's where some of your creativity comes from. We want to give people, going into 2015, we want it to be their best year ever. We want them to rock. We want them to roll. And I'm going to give you the lockdown. I'm giving you the 12 steps, and I'm going to tell you what the 5 factors are that $1 million sales letters have that other sales letters don't. David, how could they want to miss it?
They won't. They'll all be there, and we're gonna have fun. And it's gonna be Thursday, January the 8th, kicking off 2015 with the one, the only Marlon Sanders. Thank you for taking the time out of your day today, and we'll see you then.
We'll see you.